Welcome to the Catbird Quilts. I'm Kathy Martin. In today's video, I want to show you a very fun, quick, and easy quilt project that I think would be great for the summer, aka abandoning a full-size quilt. And I have a lot to say about it, so stay with me. So, wow, that's a heck of a title. I started with this that is in front of me, which is a very startlingly bright blue linen shirt and kind of similarly lime green shirt. These were sent to me by a viewer from Texas who has been watching my videos for a long time. And I started collecting linen and talking about it. And she was like, we have a ton of linen in our thrift stores in Texas. And so she just started sending me linen shirts, which is phenomenal and amazing. And I just couldn't get over how vibrant this linen was. And so I, was like, oh, amazing. And, put it in my linen tote. So around that time, either before or after, we does not know because the details are fuzzy. One of my favorite local quilt shops closed, and in the process, they were getting rid of their inventory and had just a partial bolt of red linen on clearance. And so I picked that up. Let me show you that. And so I put that in my linen tote along with the bright turquoise and the lime green. And when I did that, I did exactly what I have done just now and realized that this blue looks exactly like blue raspberry, and this looks exactly like a cherry popsicle, and the white in between makes it look exactly like a bomb pop. Now, they don't call them bomb pops anymore. They're called firecracker popsicles, and I still love them and have fondness for them. And I thought, gosh, that looks just like a bomb pop, just like a firecracker popsicle. And so I thought, ooh, maybe I'll make some popsicle blocks or a popsicle quilt. And I put them together in a baggie labeled popsicle quilt and didn't think about it for a while. And then my friend Joanna, who is a pharmacist and local friend, so pharmacist and quilter also, she's been quilting since she was a child, like very small child. And she bought some linen at one of our local thrift stores and discovered, don't really care for linen. So she gave these shirts to me, and let me show you that. Here it is. And if you are thinking, wow, that looks exactly like a grape popsicle, then you and I are thinking the same thing. And I was like, oh, cherry and grape and bomb pop. And I mean, it's not really the color of a popsicle, but if you like the, I started to say realistic flavors. The popsicles that are the citrus, like they're actual real juice and they don't have, a lot of artificial stuff in them. So they have lime and lemon and orange. And unsurprisingly, I had that also in my stash. Let me show you. So here we are with that. This was actually a white linen shirt that I dyed orange. I have gotten so much mileage out of this dyed orange shirt. I've used it in the Dialogue cabin quilt. I've used it in the fireside quilt. And I intended to use it in this popsicle quilt. And the way the dye took to the shirt, I found actually really enjoyable and fascinating. So it kind of looks modeled. And so I was like, oh, well, there's an orange popsicle. And then this was already yellow and I boosted it. And now it's really yellow lemon. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I think I have the beginnings of a popsicle quilt. And somewhere along that same time, because I'm always gathering, I was a gatherer in another life. I was not a hunter. I was a gatherer. I gathered a pair of linen pants that just so happens to be exactly the color of a popsicle stick. Let me show you that. Ta-da! It has been starched, so it's a little modelly, but it's like the color of a popsicle stick. Now, if you are here for the quick and easy summer quilt project, we will put a timestamp. So I have a lot to say about almost everything. So if you don't want to hear the story or the talking, you can go straight to the timestamp and see the project. But there was a story to get here, and I want you to hear it. So hopefully you'll join me in this story. So I had the popsicles, in theory, ready to go. And so, of course, next step was Googling popsicle quilt. And it turns out that my friend Brittany from Lo and Behold Stitchery has a popsicle quilt, and it's called Summer Pop, and it is the cutest thing, and you're about to see it for yourself. But I just was like, these are the colors of popsicles, and that would be so fun. And so then it was a matter of coming up with a background fabric. I briefly considered white. I know a lot of you are not a big fan of white background. I happen to love it, and I actually love that high contrast. But in a moment of clarity, I realized that if I did a firecracker popsicle with a white background, it would look like two floating pieces because the white would go into the white and then there would be no popsicle. It would just be background fabric. It would look like either the red part or the blue part got bit off from the rest of the popsicle. So white was out. And so I was like, oh gosh, what now? What am I gonna? And I really thought to myself, this would be a really great linen quilt because these are all linen. And if I could come up with a linen background, then now I have a summer quilt made out of linen. And I found this light blue that I thought, this is just the ticket. So here's the blue that I found. And you can see it was a shirt. That it was like a summer sky. And I got super excited, starched a bunch of pieces, and thought, well, I probably should make a test block and see if it works. Now, if you're thinking already, if you've been a quilter for a while, and you're like, is one shirt going to be enough for a whole quilt? The answer is no. But I thought, well, I'll do a test block and see if I like it. And then if I like it, I will come up with something. So I made a block. And then I actually started with I did not start with the Bomb Pop. I started with the grape. And then I made a Bomb Pop one, a firecracker one. Loved it. Loved both of them. And the blocks are big and they come together so quickly and so easily and so fun. And I'm like, this is amazing. And I made a grape, a Bomb Pop, a cherry, and an orange. And loved them and thought it was amazing. And at that point, realized this was really dumb because I have made like 4 or 5 blocks using my one shirt, and my one shirt was starting to run out. And now I have spent this time and energy in making these blocks, knowing full well that I am never going to be able to match this blue. Now, some of you have asked me via comments for a linen dyeing video. I'm going to do that. I really actually thought this was going to be the project that I'm going to do this on, but it occurred to me that trying to match that would be near impossible. And simultaneously, I realized these blocks are big. And now I have a bunch of blocks, not just one test block, but several blocks. And I just didn't want to abandon the popsicles entirely and then start all the way new with new background. So here's where you can make a quick and easy summer project. Let me show you. So here is the firecracker popsicle with that blue shirt. You can see it's already quilted and bound, so there's more to show. what I ended up doing is I actually deconstructed the grape and the orange and abandoned that for the goal of the red, white, and blue table runner. And I'll just be honest with you, I am not someone who grew up with table runners. We didn't really have a lot of table runners. Paul didn't either. And we do not have the sort of table we used to, but we don't currently have a table that's really long and oriented in such a way that it would be great for table runners. But I just decided I'm going to make a table runner out of this. And so I made another cherry popsicle and made 2 more firecracker popsicles. I'm trying to call them the right thing. I'm sure the reason why they don't call it bomb pop anymore is because bomb. Yeah, you just don't want something that has the name bomb in it. But it is reminiscent of my childhood. So I kind of keep going back there. So I just laid it out on our table and was like, actually, I love this. And it felt so summery and happy. And yeah, so I just was like, you know what? It may not work for our table, but maybe it'll work for the table of one of our patrons. So this is going to go in a giveaway on Patreon. Of course, at that point, it was not washed or quilted or bound. And so I was like, gosh, what am I going to put on the back of this table runner? And let me show you that. If you've been with me a while, you may know I love gingham. And I have a lot of gingham. And in this particular case, I have a lot of this red gingham because this shirt is absolutely gigantic. And you can see I have used it. So this is only the top portion of the shirt. Holy mackerel, that is so big. And it's almost the perfect color. And it just looked and felt like a picnic table to me. And so it has that like gingham summer feel, and it's the right color. And then you can see the binding that I chose. I was like ready to pull the plug and do it. And then on Memorial Day, I went to my local thrift store. Actually, I went to a thrift store slightly out of town, and they had a big sale, big summer blowout. And I just thought, I don't need any more shirts. You know what? I'm going to stop in there anyway. And so not only did I stop in there, I walked the whole store. And of course, in the men's shirt section, you find the most interesting shirts. And in this case, I found a shirt with roller skates on it. And I have got to show you. I don't know what it is about novelty fabrics made into men's shirts, but they absolutely give me joy. Like, it just makes me laugh. I don't know who thought to make a men's shirt. Maybe it was a women's shirt, but it was in the men's shirt section, out of red, white, and blue roller skates with red wheels. But someone did, and I'm so glad because I have bought it. And it was $3.49, half off. So that's amazing. It was not a very big shirt. It's a good thing it was kind of cheap. And I took one look at this shirt. I almost said fabric because it is, for me, fabric. And my whole childhood just came right back. We would roller skate in our garage to 45 records like Baby Come Back and Rock With You and Sad Eyes and all sorts of things. And so in the time period that I would be going to the ice cream truck and getting bomb pop / firecracker popsicles, I was wearing not blue, but white roller skates with red, white, and blue stripes. And I was like, I have to have this shirt. So I bought the shirt, brought it home, and I thought in the thrift store, this is going to be amazing. My summer pop, let me call it the right thing, my summer pop table runner. And I got home and realized that because the shirt was actually not a big shirt, I think it was a medium, it was not going to cover the distance of the width or height of the table runner. I just couldn't bring myself to figure out how to match the print top and bottom all across the thing. And so what I did is I took the other side of the front and the back and found the biggest square that I could out of the shirt and made panels for the back. And I want to show that to you. Whew, that is a busy quilt back. But you can see I just did these panels and then broke them up with the very large, very red gingham shirt with the polka dot binding. And I got to tell you, this is like summer in a table runner for me. And it just has that like happy, fun, popsicle, summer, everything. If you're patriotic, it's kind of patriotic. If you're French and you're watching this, I've got your flag represented almost with blue raspberry, maybe not royal blue, but it's close. And then all of a sudden it was together. I just did a basic crosshatch quilting, just squares. I did turn it on the bias so that it had a little bit of interest. Washed it and dried it, which is the best thing in the world to do for linen because it pulls up and does that crinkly thing. Now, if you wanted this to be flat, you would not want to dry it, especially if it's linen. But if you're looking to use your linen and you're thinking, I don't know if I want to go all in, you don't want to go whole hog quilt, full-size quilt, which is what my original plan was, and realized I just don't have it in me. And sometimes we don't have it in us to do a whole entire quilt, even a throw size. And this is a great way to go. So I'm obviously a big fan of the test block, but then the test block can become something really fun, like a table runner. I could have made this into a wall hanging or maybe a lap quilt, but the blocks are big and easy and fun and come together so easily. It's a great quilt pattern. Now, is it great for shirts? Well, the popsicle parts are great for shirts. The background, probably not so much, but if you go into it with that mindset, it is so fun. But if you want to use your linen shirts or your regular shirts and you don't want to have to commit to a whole big project, let me tell you, this was one of the most rewarding things I've made in quite some time. And it started off with a lot of angst because I thought, I've just made these blocks and now I've wasted a perfectly good shirt. So if you find yourself in that spot and you have some interesting fabrics that you want to use but can't imagine how you could put them into an actual on the bed, on the couch, on the chair quilt, let me just say, table runner is the way to go. So if you've got some shirts or some linen or some other fun fabric in your stash that you've been looking for a project, this is a great one. Easy, quick, fun, and perfect for summer. I'm Kathy Martin. This is the Catbird Quilts. Thank you so much for watching.